send me feedback on Matthew's presentation by email. If you loved it or hated it, feel free and I'll share it with him. And he's learned, so he was serious when he told you, if you have any questions or need advice, email him. And if you don't remember his website, I'll give it to you. You remember Scott from yesterday? He's going to introduce the next speakers.
So I'm going to introduce a really good friend of mine that's been here in South Florida for over 20 years. I've done a lot of business with him and his company, which is Sync Systems Technologies. And I'd like to introduce Rudy in the back, and also Dion, his up-and-coming mentor that he's going to talk to you about. And Rudy runs a IT business, so he's more on the hardware side, whereas we're more on the software side in the cloud, which was a nice compliment. And Rudy over the years has built out an enormous network of respect of clients. I think you can learn a lot from him. Feel free, obviously I want to see you guys a little bit more awake than yesterday, so feel free to bombard him with questions. But from that being said, Rudy, take the show and make it happen.
Thank you for coming.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, come on, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
Listen, I'm high energy. I got gifts in here for you guys. I brought some stuff. So when I say good morning, I need like a high energy good morning.
Good morning.
All right, that sounds better. That sounds better. Another thing I like to do, real simple, right? It's about being in the building. Y'all know, you heard when people say I'm in the building? You guys hear that, right? Yeah. So when I say Rudy LaRose, I need everybody to say in the building. Y'all ready? That's right. 1, 2, 3. Rudy LaRose in the building. Rudy LaRose in the building. Yeah, baby. Give yourself a lot of applause. How many of you like gifts? You guys like gifts? Anybody who don't like gifts, just be quiet. If you don't like gifts, be quiet. Just making sure I'm in the right room, right? All right, so I brought some little gifts for you guys. Listen, they call me the tech guy for a reason, because I love technology. Amazon is my best friend. I got boxes on boxes on boxes. It's ridiculous, right? But I brought these little things for you guys. I love these things. Selfie sticks, right? Look at that. Boom. Look at that. Love these things. So, if you want one, you're going to have to be interactive today. It's real simple. I ask a question. You raise your hand. It's real simple. What's your name? John. All right, so like John over here, I said, John, what is your favorite pastime? What's your favorite hobby?
Fishing.
Huh?
Fishing.
Okay, what size fish? Small, big, large? What's the largest fish you've ever caught? A tuna? Did you eat it? Come there, John. Give him a round of applause. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I own Sync System Technologies, and man, it's been a journey. Woo! It's been a journey for this company. I'm from a small little island where you get to see both rich and poverty at extreme levels. When I say extreme, I'm talking, you'll see one guy pull up in a G-Wagon Mercedes, and you see a little kid that's about 4 or 5 years old begging for food from that same guy. I'm from a little island called Haiti. And growing up in Haiti for me was some great experiences in my life. And I know it's weird to hear that, because they tell us that we're the largest, or the poorest rather, country in the Western Hemisphere. And so when I was growing up in Haiti, I've seen all kinds of things. And fortunately for me, even though my father wasn't in my life, but my mom had a really, really huge ethic about working hard and putting in the time. And as a result of that, I got a chance to do some really cool things when I was a kid, including traveling, including having a great school, and having great friends, including breaking computers or breaking whatever I could find my hands on. When I was a kid, guess what? There was no internet. Can you guys imagine having no internet, no cell phone, no Snapchat, no Facebook? There was none of that. We have what we call typewriters. And what I used to do is I used to open them up and pretend to fix them, but then never fix them. And my mom would just like, okay, what are you doing? While you open up the fan, the typewriter, the VCR. You guys know what a VCR is? Do you guys know what a VCR is? You sure? Okay, it's not weird for you guys, right? I'm just making sure. So, as a result of that, I was always curious about what is it like to just learn something new, right? And today what I want to do, I want to talk about an idea. I'm here to present to you an idea. And what you're looking on the screen right now, can you hit play on that for me, please? Is that possible? Is that here? I got it.
It may or may not work.
I think I know technology a little bit. Boom! How you like that? You like that? How you guys like that? I'm here talking about an idea. And this, my friend, this is an idea. Ideas are things that move us, that motivate us, that drive us. You guys remember as maybe you were hanging out with your friends one day and your friends say, ooh, I have a idea, right? Now, sometimes, depending on the type of friend you have, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But ideas are things that drive us, that move us. Who here has an Android phone? Android. One guy. Wow. Let me see that Android phone. Let me see that. That is an idea. Who has an Apple Watch? Apple Watch. That is an idea. Who has a backpack? That's an idea. Who wears glasses? Ideas. There's ideas all over the place. This is an idea. The watch is an idea. The pants I'm wearing, the shoes, the bags, everything that you see started with an idea. And so as you are innovators here in this class, what you're really doing is you're cultivating an idea. Some of you guys may wind up replacing Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know. Some of you guys might be the next Bill Gates, or the next Oprah, or the next whoever. But what it is you're cultivating an idea. And when I started this idea, that was over 20 years ago. And all it was me, my business card, a shirt, and a tie. That's all I had. Guys, I didn't have a business plan. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't have a marketing plan. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't have a financial plan. Guys, I didn't even have what we would consider as savings. But you know what I had? I had an idea. And that is the reason why I decided to move forward. And at the time, it wasn't called Sync System Technology. I wasn't that clever back then, okay? I just kept it simple. It was my initials, RL Consulting, and I handed my business cards. But to start off this journey, Dion, can you bring me my iPad, please? Thank you. To start off this journey, I used to work for, first of all, after I got out of high school, let me just say, I had no clue what I wanted to do. Like, I was one of those kids where it was about dancing and having fun and, you know, doing all those things that we're not supposed to do, so to speak. But I really didn't have a clue about what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be. I just didn't. But what I did have is I had curiosity. I was very curious. I always wanted to know how things work. And as a result of that, as time went by, I started discovering more and more about what I was curious about. It's funny because a lot of people thought, well, you're probably gonna be a mechanic because you love cars. I just love, how many of you guys love cars? How many of you guys here love cars? All right, give me some cars you like. What kind?
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin, my man. The repeat, which one?
What?
Which one? Which model?
DVX.
DVS. All right, what else? Who else likes cars? Who else? What kind of car?
Bugatti.
Bugatti, my man. Come on. All right, what lady in here? What kind of car?
BMW.
Oh, X5, X7, and 5. Boom. Who else? Who else like cars?
Bugatti.
Okay. I was expecting Alfa Romeo, but you know. Mustang? Which one?
S197.
Oh, okay. Can you change the oil?
Can I? Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You got to teach me, okay? Because I don't know how to change. All right. So I love cars, but here's the thing: I don't know how to change oil. I just like cars, but I also like the fact that when I had a dream about my first car, this idea made it happen. This idea. So I get out of high school and I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to figure things out, trying different jobs here and there. And I wind up working my last non-technical job. I wind up working at a company that was selling cell phones. This is when cell phones were just coming out. Guys, we used to call people on the phone at their house, right? And sell them a phone that was about this big and literally like ship out the phone to them without them ever seeing the phone. That's what I used to do. And after a while working in that job, every time somebody had an issue on their computer, I used to help them out. And so my supervisor came to me one day, he's like, you know, Rudy, you're really good at this. Like, you should consider working in the tech field and not telemarketing. Now, here's the crazy part. I've never heard of a supervisor tell you to quit your job to go work somewhere else. Like, that's weird to me. But that's exactly what happened. And so I went from making $9 an hour. Everybody say $9 an hour.
$9 an hour.
Now, that was not glamorous, let me just tell you, okay? But I went from making $9 an hour on Friday to Monday making $13 an hour. And back then that was a lot of money. Because most of the time, most people that got raises were 25-cent raises, 50-cent raises. I literally gave myself a raise. All by believing enough that I can and I will do this. And then in your journey, you'll get to these phases in your life. Well, you'll see a quantum leap from one to the next. Don't be afraid of that. That's how you learn, that's how you grow. And so I go to this new job. It was a company called Compaq. They're no longer around. They got bought out by HP. But it was a company called Compaq, and I used to do tech support for them back when it was Windows 3.1/95. And it was all about Microsoft at that point. There was no Apple, there was no iPhone, none of that. And started working with them, and I realized something about myself. I love to learn. I love to grow. And so I would play around with the systems. I would just try different things. I would try, doing this and doing that. And finally, one day, I realized I can do this. I can do this. And that's the thing that you have done to hear a lot of times when you're walking around and you're trying to figure things out. You literally have to stop sometimes and say to yourself, I can do this. I can do this. How many of you guys have an idea? Anybody? Okay, give me some, throw out some of the ideas you have. What ideas? Give me one of them. Yes, sir.
Starting a service group where you provide services to boat owners.
Perfect. Anybody else? An idea? Anybody? I got gifts now. Got gifts. Anybody? Idea?
A soundproof toilet.
A soundproof toilet. My girl! Do you know how many times I flush something and I'm like, this is too loud. Boom. I love that. I will be your first customer. I promise you. I also want a soundproof, what are those things they use?
Microwaves.
No, not microwave, but those things they use to do landscape. No, not the lawnmower. The leaf blowers. Oh my gosh! Please, somebody create a non-sound leaf blower, because it drives me crazy at 8 o'clock in the morning. Anyway. Yeah. Electric one or something. Over here, who else has an idea? Anything? I don't care how ridiculous it sounds. Who has an idea? You have an idea?
Yeah, a bit.
Okay.
Working on school supplies to reduce waste at the start of school year.
I love that. Renting school supplies?
Yeah, like mini fridges.
Perfect. I love that. So here's the thing about these ideas. The common thread is you're solving what? A problem. That's all it is. Facebook solves a problem. Snapchat solves a problem. TikTok solves a problem. It also gives us some addictions, but you get what I'm saying. It solves a problem, right? Television, solve the problem. Watch, solve the problem. An idea, all it is you're looking to solve a problem. And so I as I'm going through this business and I'm trying to figure out what to do, how to navigate through life, and I came out with one solution. one idea. And I went to my boss. I said, boss, I think we need to do service contracts. I think that Maytag does it, the plumbing does it, the accounting does it. Everybody do service contracts. It's a one-stop shop for the client. I think that would be a great idea. I think you should implement it. And he said no. He said no. And I don't know, like around that time, I can't really remember how I kind of felt about that, but I kind of felt like, you know what? That's okay. Maybe one day I'll get to implement that idea. And a couple of years had gone by, and he went ahead and sold the company, and the new company that came in was not interested in IT at all. They were just interested in copiers and things like that. And so what I wind up doing is, I said, one day I'm gonna have my own business. I really felt that. So what I did is, when I was off on the weekends, I'd just go see customers, like at their house. I'd help them fix computers, and just do like the basic stuff, right? Build computers. Back then, they don't build computers anymore. But I just do like just the basic stuff to kind of start this whole thing I called RL Consulting. And as a result of that, I also treated my customers as if they were my own. How many of you guys have a job right now? Who's working a regular job? Okay, cool. All right, put your hands out. Who's working a job that you actually want to have as a career or a business? Okay, you are. Who else? Okay, you guys are. Perfect. So here's the thing. The jobs that you guys are working right now, you should be thinking, that is my next customer. Not necessarily the person you're helping, but you should be treating them as, this is my next customer. Because here's the thing. When you transition from being an employee to now being a business owner, the only difference is you're collecting the checks. Other than that, you're still providing the same service. Granted, you're gonna pay taxes and this and that and the other, but you're still gonna provide the same service. It doesn't change. Instead of paying their company, they're gonna pay you. So why not start treating the people that you're working with right now as your customer, right? As a matter of fact, I've had situations where people that used to work in a business, they quit their job, they went to start their own business, and then the job that they used to work hired them to come back as a consultant, and they made more money than when they were working at the job. So you never know how you can impact, even where you're working right now, you never know how you can impact even from that level. And so while I figured things out, I said, you know, I'm gonna start this company. And so the company I was working with, they went out of business. And guess what I did? I went into business. So Friday I was working as an employee, and Monday morning I was my own business owner. And this was over 20 years ago, guys. And there's been ups and downs. There's been 2008, 2009, when things got really bad. There was things going on where I went from like 30, 40 contracts to like 3 or 4. But because I was faithful with what I was doing, I had clients that said, you know what, whatever, Rudy, you need, we got you. As a result, I had a client write me a $15,000 check and said, here, I want you to stay in business. Why? Because I treated them like more than just a customer. I treated them with respect and honor, and they wanted me to succeed. And to this day, because of that, they are still a client. This was over 20 years ago, guys. And so when you start in your journey, you're gonna look for a couple of things, right? I talked about how I started this because of a service contract. That's all it was. I had an idea. I said, let me try it, and it worked. And a lot of times you guys might be afraid to try new things, but you realize it's that same thing that you tried that's gonna work. How many of you guys you had an idea and you wanted to try it and it failed? How many of you guys? There's something you wanted to try and it failed, right? Okay, cool. How many of you guys wanted to try something, you didn't know it was gonna work, and it actually worked? Cool, cool. And how many of you guys, watch this, how many of you guys had an idea and your friends told you it wasn't gonna work and it actually worked? Boom! Hold on to that. Hold on to that. Because a lot of times you're gonna hear people say it's not gonna work. Here's the funny thing about that, right? Do you know anything about DOS? You don't know anything about DOS.
No.
So if I decide to start a DOS company, can you help me? Can you give me some pointers?
No.
Okay. So why would I go take his advice? He's never done it. He's never succeeded. Why would I even listen to him? And half the times that's what we do. I don't care if it's a parent. I don't care if it's your best friend, your dog. I don't care who it is. But if they've never done it, why would you even listen to that? And I'm not saying it to dismiss them and put them off to the side, but I'm saying if you're gonna do something, find somebody who's already succeeded in it. Find somebody who's already succeeded. And I dare to say sometimes find somebody who's already failed at it, because guess what? If they move the needle, I don't know, is this yours? Okay. This is yours, right?
Yes.
I won't drop it, I promise. So if they started something and they move it like this, but they're trying to get to here, and they just weren't able to do it, doesn't mean they necessarily failed. They just couldn't get to this. Or you might come along and say, you know what, have you tried doing this? Or maybe you should try doing that. And maybe if you did this, and boom, next thing you know, you're exactly where you need to be. So find people that are actually doing or in the process of doing the things that you're wanting to do, because those are the people that's going to be your helpers and not your haters. I don't like haters, but I do like them around because they fuel me, right? And so, as I started this company, I want to talk about a couple of things that I want you to guys bear in mind. Now, I don't see anybody writing notes, but you might want to, because I'm going to drop some jewels, all right? All right, you guys awake? You guys good? All right, let's get it. So I want to give you guys a couple of things here that I think that's going to be very impactful for your ideas to go from a concept to actually being something. When I started doing this business, there's a lot of things that I actually wanted to implement that didn't go my way, right? I talked about having service contract. Well, here's the thing. When you're a business owner, there's two ways to tackle it. You can be self-employed, or you can be a business owner. Oftentimes, a lot of us, when we go into business, we wind up having another job, because it's like 9 to 9, really is what it winds up being, because you're working yourself over and over and over and over again. But if you're gonna start a business, number one, you need to have a system. You need to have a system, because why? What happens if something happens to you? Is it gonna continue? Is it gonna fail? You need to have a system. My company is called Sync System Technologies. Guess what? When I started it, I didn't have a system. I didn't have a system, and so if I got sick, if I needed to take a vacation, what is that? I couldn't, because I didn't have a system in place. The customers didn't have a way to be able to contact me and make sure their things are in place. I didn't have one. And so as I grew the business, I realized I need a system. And so I started implementing a system. Next thing you know, I had a tech come in and help me implement the system. Now, you also find out as you're growing a business idea that sometimes that system needs to be upgraded. I'm in that process right now, where it's just not enough. It's not enough to have something from 10 years ago. Sometimes you have to say, you know what, I gotta scrap this, or figure out what's not working and get into the things that are working for your business. The next thing I wanna talk about is not only do you wanna have a system, but you also wanna try it. You also wanna try it. Because if you're gonna try something, you wanna try it so that you can fail as fast as possible. Because oftentimes the reason why things don't work out is because we're afraid to what? To fail, right? We're afraid to fail. It's like riding a bicycle. The only way that you're gonna learn how to ride a bicycle is to not be afraid to what? To fall. I got y'all on that. Not be afraid to fall. That's the only way. You can't be afraid to fall. The way you're gonna learn how to swim is you can't be afraid to drown. I mean, literally, there's stories of people pushing their kids in the pool. All right, Johnny, go ahead. Start swimming. You know, but you learn, right? And so you cannot be afraid to fail. Whatever that concept that you have, try it. Please, I beg you. The world needs your idea. They need to understand that, hey, this person has an idea, they have a solution for our problem. And guess what? As the world grows, there's new problems emerging. There are new things, new problems that we have today that we've never had before. TikTok is one of them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But anyways, we have new things that we have to deal with that we've never had to before. We have new challenges that's coming up. We have new ideas that are bursting. And whenever there's an idea, there's also what? A problem. Think about that for a second. Whenever something new comes up, there's also a problem to solve. So understand that as you implement your system, as you test it, as you make sure that you can advance that system, you also want to make sure that you have it grow. And the final thing on that I'll say is that don't ever be afraid to ask people for help. Don't ever be afraid to ask people for help. Because oftentimes, I don't know if you guys realize that there are some people in the world that you'll never hear their names. But it was because of those people that other people became famous. So for example, Steve Wozniak, that's a good one. Does anybody know who Steve Wozniak is? Does everybody know who Steve is? No? Prove my point. Without Steve Wozniak, we probably wouldn't have this. We probably wouldn't have this. We probably wouldn't have my phone or the AirPod or any of that stuff because he was Steve Jobs' right-hand man. And yet, a lot of people don't know who he is. And so sometimes you'll realize that you may start a concept, but you might need somebody to come in to help you push that concept through. So never, ever, ever be afraid to ask for help. And I'm not just talking about ChatGPT, y'all. I'm just saying, I'm not just talking, but seriously, but really be able to ask people for help. And you'll be surprised how many people are willing to help you along the way. I was one of those guys. When I started my business over 20 years ago, there's a gentleman named Michael Udine who decided to give me a chance. And as a result of that, he's been a client of mine for over 20 years and became the mayor of Broward County. Still a client today. Why? Because I asked for help. I said, I have an idea. I don't know if it's gonna work, but let me try it. And sure enough, he did, and it worked. So be willing to ask for help. The other thing I would say is a couple of things. When it comes to sales and marketing, when it comes to the strategy that I applied for Sync Systems, it's real simple. It's real simple. Treat every single customer like they're your best customer. It's just that simple. I don't treat one better than the other or this better because they're all customers of mine. And you never know what kind of referral they'll make for you. So treat every single customer like they're your best customer. And as a result of that, you'll find that people will refer you over and over and over again. And here's the cool thing about getting referred. When somebody refers you, there's very little chance that you have to go to that person you were referred. Let's say John referred me to, I'm sorry, what's your name, ma'am?
Cadence.
Cadence? Let's say John referred me to Cadence. And I go to Cadence. I don't have to tell Cadence who I am, what I do, and really prove to her that I can do it. Because what'll happen most times than none, John will already sell me from the jump. So when I show up to Cadence, hey Cadence, I'm Rudy, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Man, John referred me to you. I'm so happy I got a chance to meet you. Did he tell you anything about me? Did he tell you how bomb I am, how I dress fly, anything? He told you a lot of things about me, right? And so when we start doing business, guess what? I don't have to even convince her of anything because John already did that. And so treat every single customer as they're your best customer. That is a sales and marketing strategy for me that has always worked. When I started my business over 20 years ago, can I tell you that I've never, ever advertised? I never had to. And quite honestly, if I advertised, I probably would have been like Geek Squad. But it's cool. I've enjoyed the journey. And I'm not saying not to advertise, I'm saying treat every customer as your best customer. That is the number one thing that you can do from a sales and marketing perspective that's always gonna work. And always understand that no matter what, you're always representing your company. And your company is you. Say it with me, guys. My company is me.
My company is me.
You're the company. If I go out there, if we go outside this classroom and you see me acting a fool outside, you think you're gonna do business with Sync Systems? Probably not, right? Doesn't mean I can't do the job. It doesn't mean that I'm less of an IT guy. But because I represent the company, you do business with people you know, you like, and you trust. Bottom line. If you know them, if you like them, if you trust them, you do business with them. The other thing that I want to talk about that's really important to me is customer service. When I started this business, I would say the number one thing that got me more customers over and over again was how I treated my customers. It was the way that I paid attention to their issues. Whatever they had going on, I cared about what was happening. And I genuinely wanted to help. And because of that, they genuinely wanted to pay me. And that was beautiful. That's a beautiful relationship. And so for me, when it comes to business, customer service is one of the biggest pieces for me. If you don't believe me, next time you go to Chick-fil-A and they don't say my pleasure, watch what happens, right? You're gonna be like, wait a minute, is this McDonald's or something? Like I don't, no offense McDonald's, but I'm saying, think about it. Think about Chick-fil-A and their constant drive for people to say, my pleasure. Something just as simple. And it's interesting because when you go to somewhere else and they don't say it or they have an attitude, you're like, something's weird, something's off, right? Think about some of the biggest companies on the planet, like Apple. If you go to Apple Store, think about the customer service. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying there's a system at play that says if you have somebody genuine to deal with, it's gonna make a major difference in your life. So make sure to remember that. Remember, customer service is huge. It doesn't mean the customer is always right, but it means that you're always working together in tandem to figure out how to have a cohesive experience. Sometimes I fire my customers. That's right. Why? Because they don't match what I want to do. If a client would tell me, let's just rig it or let's just do a shortcut, I don't do that. Because at the end of the day, if something happened, guess what happens? It's back on me. So in my IT consulting firm, one of the biggest things that I always tell people is make sure that the customer knows how to be empowered. Don't just say, get out of my way, let me fix it, but educate them. Because just because you know what you're doing, it doesn't mean they know, so educate them. And as a result, they're gonna be part of the process for you. So as I leave you, I wanna leave you guys with 5 things, okay? I wanna leave you guys with 5 things. And these are 5 things about ideas and business and entrepreneurship that has helped me over the years. Number 1, ask yourself some powerful questions, such as what inspires you? What do you like to solve? Or how do you like to make a difference? Ask yourself questions. What inspires you? What do you like to solve? How can you make a difference? Ask other people questions. If I did this, would that help you? Ask questions. Powerful people ask powerful questions. Number 2, be ready to take a risk of being wrong. And if things are not going according to plan, just keep going. That's the best way to learn, actually. Just keep going. Be ready to take the risk. And sometimes you have to figure out what's that risk, right? What is the risk of you learning how to ride a bicycle? You might get scraped, right? You said you got scraped. But be ready to take the risk. Number 3, if you have an idea, say it with me. Do it now.
Do it now.
Do it quickly.
Do it quickly.
And fail at it fast.
Fail at it fast.
Right? That sounds weird, right? What do you mean fail at it? Do it now, do it quickly, and if you're gonna fail at it fast. The faster you fail at it, the more you're gonna figure out what to do next. The faster you fail at it, the more you're gonna figure out what to do. But if you're afraid to fail, you're not gonna move forward, and you're not gonna figure out the solution. All right? Number 4, it's not always necessary to reinvent the wheel. So implore people to help you execute the idea. It's not always necessary. Listen, if I want to know how to do the bomb TikTok video, I'm not gonna sit there and go through a tutorial. I'm just gonna call one of you guys and say, hey, just come help me. 'Cause I know all you guys do TikTok, right? Maybe. No. But I'm gonna employ somebody who knows what they're doing. Because rather than spending 2 hours to figure something out, that person will probably take 15, 20 minutes, done. And I've had plenty of those where I've had customers say, oh my gosh, you've been doing this thing for an hour and a half, no problem. Let me come in and help you. Come in there. All right, you're good to go. What do you mean? I fixed it. You mean that's it? I mean, that could take longer if you want me to, but it took me 15 minutes. It took an hour and a half, they were trying to figure something out. So don't be afraid to employ people to help you along the way. And the final thing that I'll say, mentorship is brutally necessary for any of us to grow. I'm gonna say it again. Mentorship is brutally necessary for any of us to grow. You don't believe me? Look at the young man behind you on the camera. He is one of my techs, and he's here because he said one thing to me. Hey, I need a mentor. That's all he said. He didn't give me his resume. He didn't tell me what he used to do, any of that stuff. That was the key word for me. He says, hey, I need a mentor. And as a result of that, he's now working for my company. We all need mentors. I need a mentor. I'm sure he's got a mentor as well. We all need mentors in our lives. So find somebody that either is doing what you want, what you're aspiring to do, or find someone that you trust, someone that you know can help you advance your idea, your goals, your dreams, and allow them to mentor you. And sometimes mentorship looks like this. Can I buy you a cup of tea? Or can I buy you a cup of coffee? Sometimes mentorship is, hey, can I come and work for your company for free? Sometimes mentorship is, hey, do you have a problem that maybe I can help you solve? Can I volunteer in your company? It's not about what you can get, but it's about what you can give. So always remember that the idea that I showed you guys in the beginning, it all started with an idea. And I like to think that perhaps, maybe I'm God's idea. Because at this stage in my life, it's beyond technology for me. It's about helping you guys come out with your idea one day. And I hope to co-sign on it. Thank you. Now, I did say I have gifts, so I'm gonna give out this one gift. Actually, I have 2 of them. I like this young lady right here to have this one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The box is somewhere. And there's another person back here that I want to give it to. Sorry guys, only the ladies get the selfie sticks today.
Oh, okay.
All right, we have a few minutes. Thank you, Rudy. This was very inspiring. And they joked with the Matthew, none of
Gracias,
this.
gracias.
Gracias.
Aprego.
None of this was scripted, ladies and gentlemen. Notice how every entrepreneur is focusing on the customer and customer service. It's just constant and constant. So let's pepper Rudy with questions, please. Who wants to start? Oscar, go ahead.
So
Remember,
you said,
speak up so everyone can hear.
yeah. You said you've never like paid for advertising or done advertising. So did you just solely expand your business through like connections and your
Word of mouth.
previous customers?
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, I'm not saying, here's the thing, you'll realize, there's a million ways to do things, right? Kind of like there's more than one way to skin a cat. I don't know who skinned the cat, I don't know why they even say that, but that's the thing. For me, what worked for me was one-on-one or networking. But going places to meet people, because again, once I met people and they got a vibe for who I was, it wasn't a matter whether I could help them or not. It was done. The next thing I was doing is showing up at their office and helping them. So I'm saying to you, if you want to start like that, there's nothing wrong with that. And as you grow your company, if you've got $100,000 to put into marketing, absolutely do it. Whether it's social media, whether it's ads, whether it's whatever the case may be. But to be in business and to have a business, I am saying you don't necessarily need marketing dollars to grow your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. He was next, actually.
Yeah. How did you find your mentor?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm still looking for one. No, I'm just kidding. I think for me, the mentor was, again, asking somebody, what can I do for you? Because a lot of times, if you see somebody that you really like, whether you like what they're driving or how they, what they say, or maybe you like their business model and you ask them, can I help? Most of the time, they're gonna be like, yes, and they're willing to help you just because you're willing to help them. So that's really the bottom line. Find somebody that needs help. And everybody needs help. I don't care if, I know millionaires that don't know how to log into Facebook. Well, that's a little extreme, but there's people that just don't know everything. Just because they're a millionaire and they're doing something, it doesn't mean you can't help them in this particular aspect, right? There's stories of people that, Steve Harvey is one of them, where he went to work for someone and was getting coffee for them. Next thing you know, he's on radio. Next thing you know, he's got a million shows. So find somebody that needs help. Is the best thing. Yes.
When you first had your idea and you were talking with people about it, whether friends, family, bosses, were you worried about protecting the idea, or were you just like saying?
So, yes and no. Here's the thing. Everybody has ideas, right? I mean, you run to, oh yeah, I have an idea, but not everybody executes them. See, he's laughing because it's true. A million ideas. Listen, I have a list of ideas in here, right here. Ask me how many of them I've already executed. Probably 5%. So I'm not saying don't protect it, and there are many ways to do that nowadays. It's so easy. But I'm saying if you got to a point in your business where it's really that serious, ChatGPT, I need an NDA. They're gonna draw out an NDA contract for you, have them sign it, you're done. It's that simple. So that's my philosophy on that. On this side, anybody? Yes, sir.
What age did you get your mentor?
What age? I would say that I've been mentored since I was in my teens. And I'm gonna tell you why. Sometimes you get mentored by people that you don't even realize are mentoring you. So mentorship has been a long journey. My mother was a mentor to me. Believe it or not, my father not being alive in my life was a mentor to me. I may not realize it, but because he wasn't there, I had to grow up and be the man. So mentorship doesn't have to start at a particular age. Just realize that throughout your life, you're gonna find, if you go back and think, oh yeah, that person, or maybe it was that teacher, or maybe it was this young man who said the one thing that just like, I remember when he said blah, 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 and it changed my life. So your mentorship happens throughout my life. So for me, it's been since I was a kid. Anybody else on this side?
Okay, so when you talked about like failing and stuff like that, what was your motivation in like failing a bunch to keep going?
is a good question. That was a
You
really
may
good
want
question.
to repeat the question for.
Oh
the
yeah,
sake.
so she
That's
asked,
what's
when
going
you
on.
fail the first or second or third time, what's your motivation to keep going, right? I like Les Brown, he says something real simple. He says, what happens when you fall? There's only two ways you fall. You either fall front, right, like that, or you fall on your back, right, like that. And while you're laying here on your back, you have an option. You can either get up on your own or you can ask somebody to help you. But by all means, if you're falling, please fall on your back so at least you can see where you're going. At least you can see the direction that you can go so that somebody can come along and help you along the way. So to answer your question is I just ask for help. If I feel like I'm just drained, I just ask for help. And I've had that happen many times in business where I just felt like quitting. I was like, I'm done, this is it. I don't want to deal with Susie anymore. She gets on my nerves. I was just done. But it was I had a bigger play at hand. And the last thing I'll say is always think about the vision. Think about where you're going. Think about if you quit now, you're gonna wonder, what if I kept going? Yes, sir.
What's your next goal?
Ooh, I love that. To conquer the world. So my next goal, I have a few things. So I would like to, I'm rebranding my business right now, and I want to grow it to a place where I can hire more people. When I first built, it was all about me. I'm sorry to say, not on purpose, but I'm the only one that they wanted to see. Rudy, can you do this? Rudy, can you help us this? Rudy. And it was like, okay, after a while, it's like, okay, don't call me anymore. Call Sync Systems. Because it was all, the pressure was just so much. So now I want to rebrand and actually build it so that more people can be hired to do what I like to do. And then the other thing that I've been working on is being a speaker, which is why I'm so feminine. Yeah, I love speaking. That's something I really enjoy. Yes, sir.
When starting out a business, when you have your idea, what is the first thing that you suggest to do that will maximize your growth?
Perfect. Do you like to write or do you like to type? Okay. You're gonna take every single thing out of your head and put it on your computer. That would be number one thing. Don't think about it too long. Don't what if. Every single aspect of this one idea, put it on the computer. Anything that you could think of, what if this happens? What if that happened? How can I fix it? Anything that you can think of, put the whole thing on a computer and make sure you save it. Because oftentimes if you don't do that, you'll forget something. And when it comes down to implement it, you'll just like, oh man, I should have done that. So put everything down on your computer. And that way you can go back and try to fix things, tweak things here, fix there. And again, if you have a mentor, you could say, okay, here's the thing. If you guys are gonna get a mentor, please do me a favor. Please do me a favor. Don't show up empty-handed. Do not show up. It's easier to get money from someone if you've already started the process than if you go to them and say, I need $10,000. Okay, great, what have you done? Nothing yet, it's just an idea. Don't do that. If you're gonna do something, start working on it now. Put all the things that you need to do about it. Do your research. Do whatever you can do up to the point where you go to that person and say, I've done this, and that. And I promise you that person's like, okay, I'm ready to help you. Does that help?
Yes. And now let's say you brought your idea up, and first day your business opens, or you're about to present it to the public, whatever it is. Okay. I'm gonna go out with my lemonade stand. All right. What is your suggestion here on how do you reach the most customers? How do you leave an impression on them and make them want to choose you and nobody else?
Great question. Number one thing, be consistent. If you're gonna have a lemonade stand today, you can't have a orange juice stand tomorrow. And then you cherry stand the next day. And then maybe the next day you decide, I don't wanna show up. Or maybe you decide, I'm gonna sleep in today. Be consistent, number one. If you keep showing up every single time, guess what? They're gonna be like, I like this guy. Number two, be friendly. It's real simple. You're dealing with a human being, not a customer or a client, you're dealing with another human being. Just be friendly. Hey, John, how you doing? Learn their names. That's huge for me. Whenever I go somewhere, I promise you, if I walk into a place where I do business constantly, they will know two things. They will know my name and I will know theirs. Know people's names. Get to know who they are. And you'll be surprised how many times people will give me free stuff just because they know me. It happens all the time. So that would be what I would say. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question. So you said you graduated from high school, then you got job offers. Did you go to college to do CS, or did you like do internships?
So I did go to college. I wound up going to FIU for a computer science degree. Once I figured out what I wanted, because here's my challenge. This is no thing on colleges and universities and stuff like that. I think too many often society, I will say, pushes people into, you got to go to college and you got to do this and you got to do that, and next thing you know, you have a $100,000 degree that you just got, and that's not what you want to do. And so I decided to go into the military first. I went to the Navy, traveled the world and blah blah blah, and got my GI Bill, and then I went to college after that, because by that time I knew enough that I knew this is what I wanted to do. And if I had to go back, I'd do the same thing, because I didn't know what I wanted to do after high school. There was no technology, there was no computer, so it's like, what do I do here? Matter of fact, I tried to go into physical therapy. Can you imagine me in the hospital doing physical therapy? That'd be weird. Anyway, but yeah, I that's what I did.
Last question.
Yes, young lady.
Actually, we got two more on this side too.
Okay, perfect.
Since you said that you were in the Navy, did being in the Navy give you any influence to help you,
Absolutely, and I'm gonna tell you why. Most of the time, who lives on campus? Does anybody live on campus somewhere? Okay, cool. So imagine you went from living in your parents' house, them telling you what to do, when to sleep, when not to sleep, what to eat, what not to eat, blah, 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 to now you're on your own by yourself, no guidance whatsoever. I mean, some guidance, but to the most part, you can come and go as you please, right? When you go from high school to the military, that's not the case. You still have somebody who's over you, who's telling you what to do, and you have to follow standards from the military perspective. That for me was a great formation to go from a kid who was in his mom's home in high school, didn't have any sort of kind of direction, to now being told what to do, to now being told when to wake up, to now being told when to eat, to now being told, hey, you got a gun, you got to watch over our country. Like that was a huge responsibility for me. And so I had to grow up and learn how to become a man through that phase. Not everybody needs that, but I needed that. And so for me, that's what the military did for me. Yes. You got two here? Yes, ma'am.
okay, so I just wanted to
Speak up, please.
I just wanted to say that I'm half Haitian, so it's nice to
Hey,
see
ça passe.
my question is that what advice do you have for individuals like us who grew up speaking other languages and who is scared to speak and communicate with others? Because in the back of my mind, I'm constantly scared that my accent would be, people would think about my accent too much and it will come out and it would get in the way of things. And because of that, I know I've missed a lot of opportunities and stuff like that. And I know that you've mentioned to never be afraid to ask people for help. So how can I go past that?
Great question. I love it. Yes. Okay. How many of you guys have taken Uber? Just about a bunch of the class, right? How many of you guys have taken an Uber and the person speaks no English? Raise your hand. Does that help? What's my answer? Doesn't matter, hon. It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I have an accent. I speak 4 languages. It doesn't matter.
For the record, he thinks he speaks Italian.
You know, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, people want to deal with you. Not your accent, not your look, not your hair, not your skin color, not your orientation. They don't care about that. And the faster you realize that, the more you're gonna realize it really doesn't matter. How many people you see, celebrities, who still don't speak full English? Sofia Vergara, she still has an accent. She's killing it. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they want to deal with you. So, I think one young man right there.
What was your overall goal of your company?
My
When you-
overall
when
goal.
it started.
You mean when I started or now?
Yeah, when you started it.
Honestly, bro, I just wanted to build a dream, like to know that man, I did this, right? Because I can't say that I didn't really have like somebody to say, oh, this guy did it this way, or my father did this way, or my uncle did it this way. I didn't really have those type of mentors around me growing up. I will say that a lot of my family is educated. They've gone to school, they've gotten degrees, but there hasn't been an entrepreneur that I could follow, like this is the path. I will tell you this, my father, from what I understand, he's a huge entrepreneur in Haiti. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, so it is in my blood. So like I naturally gravitated toward entrepreneurship. But as far as like a overall dream for my business, it was just to be relevant, to just say like, you know what, I did it. And even if I did it for 5 years and then I had to go back to work, I'm good. I was good with that, because the fact of the matter is I took a chance on me. And that's the thing I want you guys to walk away. Please take a chance on you. Young lady, yes, you speak Creole. Great. Take a chance on you. Allow people to take a chance on you, because if you're not willing to take a chance on yourself, guess what? Nobody's gonna do that for you. Nobody's gonna get your idea out the way. Nobody's gonna say, let me put some money into you. You could sit down, let me go work your business. That's not how it works. If you start doing the work, if you get into a car, guess what? If your car breaks down today and you're on the side of the road and you sit in the car and you're waiting for somebody to come help you, what's gonna happen? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're gonna be down on the side of that road till kingdom come. But if you get out and you start pushing, what's gonna happen? What happens? They're gonna come and help you, right? It's the same thing with business. Get out and start pushing. That's it.
Just fantastic, very, very inspiring.
Prego,
Thank you
prego.
so much.
Thank you, thank you.
I'll see you all in an hour.